and a great face to the police force. And please be good to your police force, man. Without them, I don't know, we'd be in a land of chaos. And thank you for all of them, including the one here today, our friend Chris Broddy. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. At TPS Chris Broddy, 2 Ds on Twitter. Follow him, a massive following. And tell me, is it any easier being an officer of the law during the summertime?
Well, you know what? We're a lot busier in the summertime. People are out, and when people are out in the summertime, they're on vacations. What do they do quite often? Have a couple of cocktails, right? So we really encourage people. There's no issues having some drinks, but please don't get behind the wheel of a vehicle. That's all we ask. And actually, in Toronto, today, not very far from the Todd Shapiro Studios, we actually launched a summer ride campaign, which is just a reminder that ride programs aren't just a Christmas thing or a December thing. They happen all year round, and it's very important to remind people that during the summer months, when people are heading up to the cottage, whether you're driving up to the cottage or out on the boat, drinking and driving laws are the same on a boat as they are in the car. So, and we do ride programs even on the water as well here in the city, and I know our friends in the OPP do it up north in a cottage country in Ontario, so it's important that we get that message out.
I'm glad you brought that message here to the table, and this is coming from a guy who loves to have a few drinks almost every night, maybe too many, but I can tell you I will never get behind the car of a wheel or the boat, and my dad made that very clear to me as a youngster. We have a nice place up at Lake and Bays, family place, and sometimes in the cottage communities it's very peculiar because people will be like, oh, it doesn't matter, oh, it's okay. You'll hear grown adults with children say these things. Have a couple drinks. Look at the wide open space, on the water here. And then my dad will take me to this little Pelican Island and always remind me that when I was like 9 years old, you remember that boat that ended up on this rocky crest? Well, that guy's no longer with us. And you can never, ever, ever think you're invincible from drinking and driving anything.
Well, that's right. And unfortunately, young people get caught up in this as well. They're inexperienced at driving often and also inexperienced in drinking, and they think having 1 or 2 drinks is okay to get behind the wheel, and we're telling you that it's not. Whether you're in Ontario, Canada, North America, or anywhere in the world, drinking definitely does not help your driving, as some people would think.
What is the deal now going on with these e-bikes and drinking on e-bikes? Because that's the other thing I'm hearing. Oh, it's not a car. I don't put gas in it. It's basically got pedals, but I just push a button. Okay, they're becoming now illegal too, which it should be, I think.
Yeah. Well, anything that's electronically propelled, you can face drinking and driving charges. Even the golf cart and the golf course. And
really?
We've had people that have done that. Even riding lawnmowers. We've had people that get gunned up, decide to go on their riding lawnmower to do their lawn, and the next thing you know, they're getting in charge of the repair because they're operating a motor vehicle.
And you would think that, I mean, anytime you're in something that's moving fast or has blades, they're killing machines. You have to think of it that way. It's a very harsh way. And, this is just me speaking here, Officer Boddy. But you're in a killing machine. You wouldn't want someone else next to you in a killing machine that is impaired. So you need to start thinking about and having that mentality as well. A lawnmower, maybe sounds quirky, you're mowing lawn, but that thing's a killing machine.
Yeah, and they can kill themselves as well, not just others. Yeah. So it's all dangerous stuff. So that's one of the main things, and especially the cottage country in the summertime, regardless of where you are, we really encourage everyone to wear their life jackets. Life jackets, I remember when I was a kid, when we were all young kids, we had that great big orange thing. You put it over your head, and you could hardly even move, and you looked like a bit of a knob. Now they're cool-looking life jackets, right?
Yeah.
So we really encourage everybody to wear one, because accidents or an emergency can happen on the water at any time. It would almost be like us saying, well, you can drive your car and put your seatbelt on when you're about to get into an accident. Obviously, that's not going to work. So we really encourage people to wear their life jackets on the boats, because once something happens, it's too late to start scrambling for life jackets. And we have dozens, if not hundreds of people drown throughout Canada every summer. And I've never known anybody to drown if they're wearing a life jacket. So it's important, and it's important for everybody to get that message out as well.
Can I put you on the spot for something serious? Do you mind? It is a serious topic. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. And people will say, Todd, what? Sorry,
is this about towing cars?
No. Oh, well, yeah, it is about towing cars too. I didn't even think of that one. I forgot about that. This one was more about the bear, though.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know.
Is that a tough thing to talk about? I don't know. Like, you're never facing these situations.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously I wasn't there, and I know it was a tragic story, right? But here's my take on it. And I was watching one of our local news channels here where they were showing it live. I don't know if they actually showed the shooting.
They did. I saw the shooting live.
So
the poor bear falling out of the tree. Like, that was so much. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so I didn't catch that. But, I mean, here's the thing with that situation. So there were police officers in the backyard of this house in a city north of Toronto here. Do your listeners know the history about this bear?
I think so. So you
guys have been talking about it. Yeah. So maybe many of your listeners right now saw it. There was a bear in the backyard of this house, residential house in Newmarket, north of Toronto. There were police officers there trying to do their best to contain the bear in the backyard, keeping in mind that this was 8 o'clock in the morning-ish. It's a residential area. Lots of people going to and from work, going to and from school. I know for a fact that there's a school close to the residence where the bear was. What we saw on the TV, that the bear had climbed the tree, and apparently it was coming back down. And the officers on the scene made a judgment call that, whether it's to protect them or whether it's to protect neighbors or the school kids that weren't too far away, that they decided to take some action and unfortunately dispatch that bear. So that's one of those things. If that bear had gone out and it easily jumped the fences, if that bear could have ended up going out, jumped over a fence, and ended up mauling a young child or mauling an adult, that would have been the police officer's fault too. So sometimes it's one of these lose-lose situations. I heard lots of talk about using the CEW, or conducted energy weapon, or for what people know them more familiar as is a taser, right? So that's fine.
Our listeners really know what a taser is, by the way. Yeah.
They've been on the business end of one a couple of times. Yeah, I have two actually in a working capacity. It's not that fun.
Wow, tell me about that.
Yeah,
one.
We'll talk about that. Oh, bring one in. We can try it.
The hosts of the show also know what that feels like.
Not in recent times.
No.
So there was some talk about deploying the CEW to incapacitate the bear. So how the CEWs work, that we've all seen them on TV. If I was to stun Jay, it only lasts for a few seconds, and the idea is to incapacitate Jay so he's on the ground, and then officers can go and put the person in a handcuff and make the situation safe. We don't have bear cuffs, so if the officers utilize the taser, I'm not sure what would have happened next. So we don't have bear cuffs that we could cuff the bear and then put him in the back of a police car. Like, that's not going to happen. So it would stun the bear for seconds, and then we'd be back into a fight. So.
And I was the first to say that I thought maybe the police officers acted a little bit too quickly. I'm not going to lie about that. And Jay was the other one to say, like, no, you got to kill the bear in that situation. That's just, and you never, none of us, unless you work for the law or you've ever been a soldier or something and understand those situations that you are protecting other people. I don't think there's just some officer out there going, yeah, let's just kill a bear to kill a bear. That's never the case. It's so professional, and that part of it I will understand. And we also had an aerial view from this, and I was thinking about it after. I was kind of, I wasn't harsh, but I was, kind of opinionated, which I guess as a radio host I should be at times. And we have an aerial view, but you don't know who's in the yard next to you. They can't see over that fence that's higher than their head.
Right.
And so, and the other arguments I heard too then were that if you even did tranquilize the bear that's 20 feet up in a tree, it could fall and do injuries, and it would, you would probably have to put it down if it broke its, legs and stuff. So
and it could be, and we're not equipped with tranquilizer guns, right? So that would have been the ministry.
You should be.
Maybe, and especially, maybe up north and police services up north.
No, just for the drunk douches on King Street. Okay, no.
Yeah, well, we don't. That would be a little excessive.
I think so.
But, we wouldn't do that. But
Hey, I'm Jay Broddy. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment. We read the best ones on the air.